Okay, guys, since nobody is reporting on this right now, I feel like this is something that we need to talk about. So, California fertility clinic explosion. Suspect's dad spoken out. He was anti-test tube. So let's look into what this lunatic then did, and let's talk about it.
The father of the Palm Springs fertility clinic bombing suspect says his son was not an anti-pro-life person. Welcome to the Fox 11 News at 5 simulcast on our sister station, Fox 11 Plus. I'm Christine Devine.
And I'm Alex Michelson. The father of Guy Edward Bartkus also says he's not a terrorist. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez spoke with him and joins us live from Palm Springs with more. Christina.
Yeah, he says a better term would be suicide bomber, and you're going to hear from him. But first, let me show you real quickly, because Indian Canyon Drive here remains completely off limits. The clinic is actually to the left of your screen over there. They're trying to make sure all these buildings are safe as they continue the investigation into this 25-year-old suspect. He put out a manifesto, but his dad gave us a sense of what may have been going through his mind. Listen.
Well, I call him a terrorist. I wouldn't call him a terrorist. A terrorist is not to kill people or life, destroy life. He wasn't there to destroy it. He was there against a test tube baby.
The father of Guy Edward Bartkus, identified by the FBI as the suspect behind the bombing this weekend of the American Reproductive Center's fertility clinic in Palm Springs.
He was not anti-life. He was anti-test tube baby. He thinks that if a person had a test tube baby, they would never really love the child as their own.
Bartkus died in the blast, which injured 4 people.
Guys can just be on that outer perimeter. I really do say that for your safety.
Federal agents have been working the 29 Palms home where Bartkus lived with his mom and sister. Neighbors say he kept to himself.
And I think that's probably the way he wanted it. You know, a lot of times when people do stuff like this, they kind of stay away from the public eye, away from a lot of public attention.
Back at the explosion site, the effort expanding from investigating to also trying to save the embryos at the clinic.
We didn't know what a cryogenic tank looked like or what it was, what we were going to find.
But they did find what they were looking for and saved all the facility embryos. And they're just beginning to hear the thank yous.
That's when things started to kind of hit home that like we were involved in something that was pretty special. So.
Especially for all those parents. Now, the area where the embryos were kept was not badly damaged, but the building itself was, as were other buildings near it. But I can tell you this, because people have been wondering, because this is all part of the Desert Care Network, the medical facilities. Tomorrow, Kaiser Permanente is saying that they are going to reopen their Palm Spring medical offices, even their lab and pharmacy. And again, this street should be reopened tomorrow. They hope we'll keep you updated. As to other things that Dad was telling us really quickly, he really believes that his son, and he has not talked to him for quite a few years, but he does not see him as a killer. And he has a sense that this kid, again, should be called a suicide bomber, that he blew himself up because he didn't want to hurt anybody else. Although 4 people were injured, but they have all been released. I'm Christina Gonzalez, live in Palm Springs. Back to you guys in the studio.
So interesting perspective there on the family. He lived with the mother and sister, hadn't talked to the father in a while, you say. Was the father surprised, shocked? Did he have any inkling that his son was perhaps having some troubling times?
No, and his father hasn't seen him because he had a heart attack and he was undergoing medical care, but it was in contact with the family, with the mom and so forth. What he does say that in his background, he's a very bright kid, describes him as a computer genius, but also very active. He used to like to blow up little bombs, put little explosive things, small devices together, but nothing to this magnitude. He also believes he probably didn't do this on his own. He didn't think he had this kind of knowledge, but more important, he doesn't think he was trying to kill anybody. He keeps on insisting on that he made it a point to not kill anybody else, regardless of what his beliefs may be. I'm sure we're going to hear more once investigators go through that manifesto, which is pretty lengthy. It's online. And he talks about not wanting the what they call the test tube babies.
Oh, is there any indication that he was not acting alone? I mean, is there any indication anybody else was helping him?
Not from investigators. We have not gotten that from investigators in any way. That is just a father trying to say, and you can imagine as a father, he is going to see things his way, but he was adamant. It's not like he held back and said, like, this kid has never played with explosives before or anything like that. But he was adamant. He says, this kind of enormous explosion is not something that you just put together lightly. So he seems to think that, he may have had counsel with other people, even if they didn't believe in what he believed.
Well,
Again, we're waiting for investigators to give us more information.
Yeah, and then to hear from the firefighters who worked that scene is really something, because you think of anybody who's gone through any kind of fertility treatments, trying to bring a baby into this world, having the troubles that they had to go through and the expense and the cost. I can just imagine the kind of thank yous that they are receiving from firefighters and from the public to the firefighters.
Oh, yes.
All right. Thank you, Christina.
Wow. So that guy, his dad, I know his dad trying to play. It sounds like his dad is trying to play the fence a little bit. But let's just be honest. This is something that they all want to blow up and say it was a white terrorist or anything like that. But let's just say people that do stuff like this are pretty much unhinged. And this is why you need mental health. This is why people need to go to therapy. That was just absolutely insane. That was just pretty much just downright absolutely insane. That was just, to me, that was just pretty much absolutely insane. But that's what's been going, that's another thing that has been going on in the news. So now the next thing we're going to look into is Trump and, Trump and Melania that passed a bill to combat revenge porn. Trump signs law on combating explicit deepfakes online. Let's look into it.
Good afternoon and welcome to the White House. It's an honor to join you here today for the signing of the Take It Down Act, a national victory that will help parents and families protect children from online exploitation. This legislation is a powerful step forward in our efforts to ensure that every American, especially young people, can feel better being abused through non-consensual intimate imagery of I and CII. Artificial intelligence and social media are the digital candy for the next generation. Sweet, addictive, and engineered to have an impact on the cognitive development of our children. But unlike sugar, these new technologies can be weaponized, shape beliefs, and sadly affect emotions and even be deadly. Over the past few months, I have met with brave survivors, deeply loving families, and caring advocates who know firsthand the emotional and psychological toll of NCII and deepfake abuse. Alliston Berry stood boldly for change, despite the risk posed to her and her family by speaking out and making her voice heard. Alliston, your voice and the voices of so many like you made this bill a national priority. Many thanks to members of Congress, both parties, for passing this legislation, including Speaker Johnson, Senator Cruz, Senator Klobuchar, Congresswoman Salazar, Congresswoman Dean, and Congressman Guthrie, and so many more. Thank you all for coming together to prioritize people over politics. As First Lady, my Be Best initiative is focused on improving children's well-being, encouraging kindness, and creating a safer online environment for our youth. Today, I'm proud to say that the values of Be Best will be reflected in the law of the land. I want to thank my husband, President Trump, for standing with us on this effort. His signature on this new law is not where our work ends on this issue. Now we look to the Federal Trade Commission and the private sector to do their part. The well-being of our children is central to our future of our families and America. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the President. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Good job, sweetie. Want to sit down?
Yeah.
And the gentleman. Nobody knew that. Great job. That was a great job. Well, I want to thank everybody. We just spent 2.5 hours talking to Vladimir Putin, and I think some progress has been made. It's a terrible situation going on over there. 5,000 young people every single week are being killed. So hopefully we did something. We also spoke to the heads of most of the European nations, and we're trying to get that whole thing wrapped up. What a shame that it ever started in the first place. So, but I want to thank Melania and for your leadership in this very important issue. It's an amazing issue. America is blessed to have such a dedicated and compassionate First Lady. I would tell you she is very dedicated. In fact, if you look at just what I heard, Putin just said they respect your wife a lot. I said, what about me? No, they like Melania better. That wasn't good. I don't know if that was good. I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I also want to congratulate the First Lady in securing $25 million in the first fiscal year, 2026, budget to provide housing and support for youth transitioning out of the foster care. And I can say that she loves children, and you really worked very hard on this, and you had a lot of help from some friends of mine right here, and a lot of the senators are here and congressmen, and I appreciate you all being here. We're also grateful to be joined by people that are just in love with what we're doing. It's such an important situation. And commissioners of the Federal Trade Commission and the CEO of X, Linda Yaccarino. Where are you, Linda? Where are you, Linda? Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Stand up. Thank you, Linda. Great job. You're doing a great job. It's a big deal, right? That's great. Today, it's my honor to officially sign the Take It Down Act into law. It's a big thing, very important. This will be the first ever federal law to combat the distribution of explicit, imaginary, posted without subjects' consent. They take horrible pictures, and I guess sometimes even make up the pictures, and they post it without consent or anything else. And very importantly, this includes for forgeries generated by artificial intelligence known as deepfakes. We've all heard about deepfakes. I have them all the time, but nobody does anything. I asked Pam, can you help me, Pam? She says, no, I'm too busy doing other things. Don't worry, you'll survive. But a lot of people don't survive. That's true, and so horrible. With the rise of AI image generation, countless women have been harassed with deepfakes and other explicit images distributed against their will. This is the wrong, and it's just so horribly wrong. And it's a very abusive situation, like in some cases people have never seen before. And today we're making it totally illegal. Thank you. Upon hearing the stories of so many women affected, our First Lady made stopping these abuses a top priority, and she was given tremendous support because she'd go up to people and talk about it. They say, yeah, we know about it. We have the problem. Can we do something? And she did something about it with the help of a lot of the people, especially the political people sitting here today. Among Melania's guests in the gallery during my address to the joint session of Congress was a 15-year-old young person, Elliston Berry, whose image was turned into an illicit deepfake by a peer. Elliston, where are you? Are you around? Stand up, darling. That's fine. Beautiful. It's great. Thank you. It's fantastic. Elliston quickly became a powerful advocate committed to preventing other girls from suffering the same abuse. Elliston, we salute you and we thank you very much. And it's an honor to have you with us today. Great job you've done. Also with us are several other brave Americans whose lives were rocked by online harassment, including Francesca Manny, as well as a South Carolina State Representative, Brandon Guffey, and his family, who have lost their son to suicide after he was targeted in an internet extortion scam, of which you have a lot of them, a lot. I want to thank you both for your incredible work and to reach this important day. Could you stand up, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job. I've read about it. Thank you very much. It's a real honor to have you here because there's no place like the White House, I found out. You know, you have a lot of places, and I just left some of the richest places, and we loved them, and they gave us a nice contribution of about $5 trillion, but this is a special place. Even they talk about it, so it's great to have everybody here. Under the law, I will sign in just a moment. Anyone who intentionally distributes explicit images without the subject's consent will face up to 3 years in prison. In addition, this law establishes new civil liabilities for online platforms that refuse to take these images down promptly upon request. We will not tolerate online sexual exploitation, and especially it's gone on at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It's getting worse and worse, and I think this is going to hopefully stop it. And not easy to do. People talked about all sorts of First Amendment, Second Amendment. They talked about any amendment they could make up, and we got it through because of some very brave people, including some very brave politicians in the audience. I want to thank the bill sponsor, Senator Ted Cruz. Ted, stand up, please. Great. Thank you, Ted. It's great. Very effective person. And Congresswoman Maria Salazar, friend of mine. Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much for their amazing work. And thanks also to the 99 senators and 408 members of Congress who voted in favor of the bill. Wow, I wish we could get that vote. Some other things. We have another bill coming up. Do you think we'll get that vote? Maybe not. We should, but we probably won't. But working with our First Lady, we've shown that bipartisanship is still possible. That's true. With 99 senators, that's incredible. Senators, stand up. Look at that. John, you're here. Look at all of the senators. This is big stuff. I'm in trouble because I don't have your names. They didn't give me these names. We have so many. We have half of the Senate here. Now they're all going to hate me because I can't introduce you. Oh, we don't have the time for that. I have to get back to Putin and people. But thank you very much for being here, all of you, and congressmen, a lot of them, and women. Working with our First Lady, though, we've shown that bipartisanship is possible. I mean, it's the first time I've seen such a level of bipartisanship, and it's a beautiful thing to do. I'm not even sure you realize, honey, a lot of the Democrats and Republicans don't get along so well. You've made them get along, and she didn't even know about that. She didn't know we had a problem. She didn't know we had a problem. But I want to thank you, honey. You've done amazing that this was done when you started. And I said, I don't know, it sounds like a tough one and yet a very important one. And you got it done. So I congratulate you. And I congratulate Ted, Maria, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we'll sign the bill. Thank you.
This is something that the mainstream liberal media probably not going to talk about this at all. They're probably going to ignore this. They're probably not even going to acknowledge this. This is something that the mainstream liberal media is not going to talk about whatsoever. But let's finish the video.
That's your name, Chuck Wesley. It's been around a long time, huh? Come on around. That's beautiful. Come on around. Hey, look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you. You did it. Got it. Thank you.
Thanks for your leadership made this happen. So thank you.
I know. Thanks, Maria. That's fantastic. Okay, you ready? Okay, honey, you signing something? You want to sign it anyway? Come on, sign it anyway. She deserves to sign it. Okay, there we have it.
There we are.
That's a big one. Thank you very much, everyone. And you have some pens here. You most importantly, right? Oh, look at these white pens. I've never seen that before. I want one of them. I've never seen them. Here, Pamela, take that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. You go ahead.
Appreciate it.
Mr. President, let me introduce you to Brandon, who lost his son, Gavin.
Let me get up.
Yes.
He's a state legislator in South Carolina. He's been incredibly brave, and his whole family. So,
Yes.
until the President and the First Lady has departed the Rose Garden. Thank you.
Yeah, so now you've seen that. Trust me, this is not going to be in. I'm surprised this is even on ABC News, 7 News. But this is probably going to go. This is probably as far as it's going to go. CNN, MSNBC, and all of them, they too busy worried about trade wars and all that stuff, and him receiving the jet from Carter. And that's probably how much they're going to really be worried about, is that. But like, comment, and subscribe, and peace out.